Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Every day in the morning, what we do, we are human beings. We always blame, complain, and react. There is not a single day when these thoughts of blame, complain. Why? Why? Only because we lack something. We have overemphasis on the things that mind craves, seeks. So what is the mode of the mind? Mode of the mind is blame and complain. Mode of the mind is blame and complain. I forget, then what happens? Then I forget what I have, what I possess. No doubt, there are many things which we do not have, but there are many things that we have. But the most important message this Mangalacharan gives to us is that I should be aware of all that we receive from the existence. You know this meaning, you are my mother, my father, my sibling, my friend. You are my knowledge, my wealth, my everything, O Supreme Existence. Whether you say it is a God or existence, it doesn't make a difference. So we should reflect on it. Our body, the very vessel that allows us to experience the life given by the existence. The vital, our breath, the fundamental life force that sustains us moment by moment. The mind, with its capacity for thought, feeling, and understanding. We did not demand for this mind at the time of the birth, but we are given. We are given for a purpose, not to get into stress. Material provisions, wealth, and the resources that support our physical needs. Relationship. Our parents who brought us into this world and nurtured. Guidance, our teachers who impart the knowledge and the wisdom. Intellectual growth. So all it comes from the that is another way to do the Mangalacharan. Open your eyes and now check that your level of awareness and attention should be maintained. That is why we say you are my mother, you are my father, my sibling, my friend, my knowledge, my wealth, my everything, that very existence. So our mind moves towards the higher consciousness. Another beautiful way of the Mangalacharan. I will continue. I will create another 5 or 6 more verses on Mangalacharan, so you can talk about it. It is better your friend comes to you and who has some grudge against, oh, let us see. You just say to yourself, maybe loudly, and see what happens. So this Mangalacharan also purifies the mind. It dissolves our ego. It opens the heart to receive the knowledge, and it leads to self-discovery. The very first practice I have been telling you, directly, indirectly, and in a cryptid format. This Mangalacharan is the essence that where we want to go, where as a seeker I want to go, let the teacher help me, and the teacher is also full of humility. Yes, I'm ready to give you what little I know. Others are not following, let them not. I should follow in my mind, in my relationship with my parents, with anyone and everyone. So we have been talking about liberate model. So you see the mood of the mind, mode of the mind, and the liberate model to be applied by an intellect so that your mood and the mode can change. Awakening. Our goal is to reach to that state of awakening. So, liberate model, I said L, love real self. I investigate means that I'm asking a question. Why there is a stress? Why there is a stress? I've already made it clear. Mind, our mindset, by default it comes. There is a blame and complain, whether we complain to the body, mind, relationship, people, outside situations, summer. Now Arizona has it. My mind should be constantly aware. Existence has given me investigate. B means the breaking the attachment by recognizing it. E, eliminate the delusion. So when you break the attachment that causes the delusion, you can eliminate the delusion. R, relax. Here and now. This relax and calm is the change of direction. The mind that is seeking outside, it is moving inside. You feel the sense of calmness. In that calmness, we have aspiration for the real self. If the calmness is not there in the mind, then we have an intellectual, mechanical aspiration. So once you aspire for the real self, you can transcend the limitations there and then. Then what happens? The last letter is E, embody the real self instead of the false I. We are reaching deeper. So always, now we have reached to a point, don't forget this Mangalacharana. Even if you don't remember the verse, but you should remember it in English. Let the existence take care. Existence, you are my father and mother. Father, protection. Mother, emotional. Oh, so you think, why I get emotional, Let the existence take care of it. So, in a liberate model, we have to find a still point. That is what many masters talks about. I'm just Americanizing these principles to help you understand easily. So you see that you have to find a still point. There is no still point in the mind. You wake up in the morning, you fall into a busy trap, you have a blame and complaint. So we have to find that still point to start the liberate model, applying the liberate model. There is a word, how to say, encore, vibrant encore. So that word encore is used for performing in performing arts. Suggests that this stage of life isn't ending. So whenever I'm in the stress, no, this is not the end of the life. I should remember to find that still point. Encore. Encore also means the meaningful engagement and experiences. No, this is not the end of the life. I have to create something new. That is why encore word is used. So I should have a mindset. How do I have a mindset? I'm connecting. You have to go through and listen to it again. Mood, mode, and now the liberate model. So how we reach there? Just encore. This is not the end of the stress, is not the end of the life. Marriage is not the end of life. Divorce is not the end of the life. I did not get the money. That is not the end of life. So that still point means I have to tap the inner stillness in the beginning, very beginning, before. That is the meaning, love my real self. That is one way to talk about it. So then we can move ahead. Otherwise, we will miss, we will forget. Hmm? There is another word is used in in the younger, not younger, but in the midlife people. They say level up your inner game of navigating life with clarity and calmness. I have had enough. You lived for 10 years. Just find out. First 20 years, you have lot of desires. Couple of them are fulfilled, others are not fulfilled. At the age of 30 years, those desires were replaced and still other desires are not fulfilled. We never ask a question whether my life is for desire fulfillment or self-fulfillment. Level up. That is another. It's a fantastic bit of gaming lingo that totally jumped out of digital world into everyday talk. It was into level up. So level up here means in our journey of self-discovery is to improve, advance, progress, is to improve. How long I have been seeking, and I'm getting frustrated every time. I have 1 million desire are fulfilled. Is there any advancement? Is there any inner progress? I have to ask. That is the meaning of level up. So here the level up means to improve, advance and progress. Progress in any area, but here advance, progress and improve in self-discovery. It is all about getting better. What does it mean by getting better? I have no events of anxiety, duality, conflict throughout the day, the moment I wake up until I fall into sleep. Think. And if it continues for about a week, think. That can be achieved by this liberate model. Level up also in gaming experiences, it involves earning experiences points in gaming by completing tasks, by defeating enemies, by achieving certain goal. Use the level up. I defeated the enemy of anxiety, duality, conflict. So what is going to happen? Outside there is a skill improvement, there is a career advancement, there is a personal growth. This is going to happen. So we started with the Mangalacharan every day in the morning, and you have to apply as long as you start feeling the sense. Oh, now today I feel throughout the day I am full of energy. So does the blame, complaint, and the negative tendencies in the mind put me down? Check it yourself. Just check it. You will find it. Because there is an attitude of gratefulness in Mangalacharan. And once we have an attitude of the gratitude, that is going to dissolve the ego. So don't think that ego is not in an ordinary sense, that I thought, which is seeking to be a doer and enjoyer. That is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about other areas, the way we understand ego. It's an illusion of self-sufficiency and isolated. person. That is why I blame and complain. So once you have a mindset of that type, then only you can apply the liberate model. What is this liberate model? It is satsang. What is satsang? Do you remember? Satsang to a detachment, to freedom from delusion, to steadiness of the mind, to awakening. This is what the master is saying. So it means in that liberate model, there is a real self, there is a false I, there is a delusion, there is an attachment, there is a satsang, there is a suffering, there is a self-knowledge. All I have talked about it. All I have talked about it. Liberate model as a practical tool for transformation in your personal life, in your professional life, in your social life, in your family life. Remember, one thing is very important. When I say impurity of the mind, that impurity is not like you have the cloth becomes dirty. That is also the impurity. You have to put into the washer and clean it. It has no physical correlates. It is more in the mind. It is more in my intellect. So the liberate model can be applied through the intellect in any situation. In any situation. So those masters who are awakened, they are fully aware. Instantly they apply. You look at it, liberate model, every aspect, it is happening in the mind, and you change it. Love your real self, investigate, break free from attachment, eliminate, eradicate or eliminate delusion, relax and calm, aspire for the real self, transcend the limitation and embody the real self. It looks little complex, but it is not. But you have to do the practice regularly. The moment you have anxiety, you are driven by the anxiety, you have a desire for seeking, your mind starts blaming and complaining, reacting, apply the, oh, let me sit down. But how to sit down? That is what I explained you. Level up and still point. If you don't remember those two factors in your mind, liberate model, you will forget it. Try this out. Let me know. So, breaking attachment, I'm repeating it again and again so that your mind. So we have to apply that liberate model to our life every day, every moment. Just first remember the liberate. Oh, there is, I'm of the nature of the real self. Then why I have an anxiety? Question. Intellect is questioning. Do you remember I told you another principle? What principle I told you? Teacher, Eastern wisdom, knowledge, and then we have vasana and the past impressions in the middle, then bhakti, the devotion. Devotion drives the mind to create a value to change everything in life. And everything is happening in the mind. Yeah, all the impurities can be purified. You all are seekers. We have reached to a higher level. We have to apply it daily so that every week you can share your experiences. Ah, yes, this is what. Let us take an example of investigate. Think about a recurring stressful situation. Think about it. Find out last week how many times the same stressful situation is repeated. I have to investigate. I am living unconsciously, impulsively, that is why they are being repeated. Are you getting it? Replay it with an attitude of investigation. Find out. You will find that your mind is full of those impressions of blame against a person, and that is why it is happening. It maybe you are seeking something, that is why craving, that is why it is happening. Anything, anything. The moment we have any thoughts pertaining to anxiety, craving, blame, complaint, reaction, duality, conflict, including the situation in the body, problems in the body, pain in the body. You can, the moment you apply it, it works, it works, it works. You have to make it work. If it is not working, you have to make it work, because thousands of masters have applied what they applied by satsang. So consistent listening and learning will open up this liberate model also. After a few more sessions, you can communicate, but after a few more sessions, we are not talking of anxiety, duality, conflict, pressure, blame, and complaint. We will go, when you go deeper, we are not talking of those issues. We are talking how to enter deeper within, how to explore, how to experience the presence of the real self. But your mind is still complaining. It means what? We have yet to purify the mind. So all these weeks, months, and years, if we have not reached to that state, yes, the challenges come. Past impressions are there. Vasanas are there. Prarabdha is there. Okay, I can tackle it. I can tackle it, and I can move into the state of calmness and relaxation. If that confidence, if that awareness, if that idea of level up is present in your mind, nothing can prevent you to move deeper. Whatever the situation outside is. Financial, social, physical, mental, whatever the situation outside, doesn't matter. I'm repeating again. What I'm saying, that now we are moving away. Now you have an intellectual capacity and you can shift the mood and the mode of the mind by remembering the liberate principle to tackle, to calm down your mind, to separate yourself, to detach yourself from those situations which causes the blame, complaint, reaction, anxiety. And if you are capable of that, then we are ready to move deeper, to explore further into our real self. That level should come. Now is the time to share. Let us discuss. Who wants to take the lead? Anyone can take the lead.
Sir, I think if we taste the peace inside us, then all these things, these are means the value of these things start decreasing in our life. Supposing I am fond of food, or I am, so the person start realizing that these things are two ways. What pleasure we get, the same amount of unhappiness or that we get. Once we start, if we have got something better, then we will leave the means the thing which is not better,
Yes.
not good. So first we have, if we start tasting the peace inside us, then we will keep on concentrating on that peace and that and going deeper and deeper, so that means and it is, we don't think that we will leave this, we will leave this. These things start living on their own accord. Start these things getting, they are dropping on their own, means that we don't force them to leave anything. That okay, I will leave the choice of my food, or leave this thing. Once we are in peace, then we don't, what we are eating, that is enough for us. That is the thing means.
Yes, I have a penny on one hand, I have $1 million on the other hand. So when I recognize the value of $1 million, the penny doesn't value anything. And what is that penny? Penny is the pleasure outside. Pleasure, penny is also the pain outside. I'm more focused on removing the pain because I have recognized the inner peace. Yes. Why it does not happen? Because of the impurities of the mind. What to do? Apply the liberate model. That's a, yeah, beautiful, beautiful, Samir. Yes, I think Jerry wanted to open up. Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
The tool of the Liberate tool is great. And prior the Mangalacharan, so it sets us up for success with the Mangalacharan, starting our day and incorporating that, remembering it through the day. And then I feel like as we apply this Liberate model, then it shows us the areas that need work. And then more importantly, it proves to us how that difficult life can be lived easily. And so we get to that place where those events that are challenging, we find that we're living it easily, even though it's a challenging event. And that's where we know we're there. Those glimpses.
You see, you rightly said the Mangala Charan sets the tone of the mind. Or you can say the Mangala Charan sets the mood and the mode of the mind that I have to go for self-discovery. Then you apply the Liberate model, and the last point you said, I'm repeating, in one of the sessions I said easy life and easy living, difficult life and easy living. Even if you have a difficult life outside, but inside it's an easy living. Beautifully summarized. Yes, anyone else? Go ahead. Christina, you have a good platform, so there your legs will not be shaking.
Yeah, I will share. You mentioned stress isn't the end of life. And I found that really helped because I've often thought of, when stress happens or difficulties happen, like it's the end of the world is often the reaction. And to be able to accept it as part of life, but even like, oh, there's an encore, there's a moving on, there's something else that we learn through the process of that.
Yes, yes. You see, a recognition that any challenges in our life is not the end of life. Life continues. Ganges River starts from 12,000 feet above the sea level from a glacier. And when it travels 2 miles, which is a very steep height where my master had a monastery, it's maybe 1,000 feet high from where the water falls. And that water roars maybe 50 miles an hour. We hear the roar. And then what happens? That river continues to flow in spite of all the obstacles. It reaches to a plain. It becomes a calm river. So I may have a stress but that is not the end of the life. Let me continue the journey. How? By these steps. Question is whether I remember that in times of stress or not. Why I don't remember? Because of the impurity of the mind. We are very logical and understanding, clear. You know what I will do. My soulmate has left me. Many people have left you. Millions of people have gone by. How are you, Brandy? This-
Sometimes your lessons feel especially timely because I was thinking about a particular person that I had an issue with yesterday, just yesterday. And I was like, I'm letting this go, right? This is like, I'm done with this. Just peace around this, forgiveness, let it go. This morning, woke up, thought of that person, totally blamed her again. I was like, what are you doing? Like, I watched myself do it. And I think it's really important that, like you said, that you got to catch yourself. You got to level up because it was almost funny that my mind just woke up today and was like, you know what, Shra? And I was, why? Because just yesterday I released it. So I do. I mean, you know, I think we're all seekers here. I believe that, and I like to believe we're doing the work and evolving. But still, these things happen.
yes, these things may happen, but the moment it happens, I remember, and the entire mood and the mode of the mind changes. So it is your effort, it is your commitment which brought you this, not me. I have nothing to offer. Beautifully said. Yes, yes. These events will help you to understand and have a power of conviction in these principles. Our mind still has a doubt. We are discussing openly. Our mind still has a doubt. Otherwise, if I say you are real self, that is the beginning and the end of the lesson. So that is why these principles are required. Yes, who wants to take up? Today, kitch kitch is little less, because of that. I just opened the humidifier and it helped me. Yeah, I recognized it. Yes, who is taking? Dennis, you're taking? Yes.
Uh, the first thing I wanted to mention is with regards to Mangalacharan, I noticed that since we started doing it in the beginning of the session, my mind is much more focused during the lesson, so I can confirm that it works. Like you said, that we have to prove to ourselves that these methods work. So yes, one confirmation for me is definitely there that it works. And another thing I wanted to mention uh, with regards to applying these principles in everyday life, I noticed that adverse situations that happen, that happen, they just stop being a suffering. Uh, this adverse situations becomes an exercise rather than a suffering, an exercise of contemplating of why this or that happened and how I am related to that or not related to that. So the suffering is dropped from that process. It's more of a thinking and contemplating rather than going into mood swings or extremes or unconscious behavior, something like that. And that is, in my opinion, the one of the greatest achievements for me on this path, because I can notice the practical aspect of applying these principles in my life.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Dennis. This is going to inspire others also. You see, it works. The moment I wake up in the morning, I have kept an image of my master in front of me, and as if I'm addressing, you are my father, you are my mother. Now I get too much emotional. You are my father, you are my mother, you are my wealth, you are my knowledge, you are everything. And then I say to myself, what to fear? Where is the fear? No fear. I've been repeating it almost now more than 30 years. Hardly I forget. And the moment these challenges will definitely, second point, adverse situation, these challenges will definitely come to our life because we cannot change the world. I have to change myself. So the world of different situation, people, reaction, blame, even if you go with the right intention to the people, they will blame you because they don't recognize that you have a right intention. They may think that you have come with a very some motivation. They will say it. So now you see that you are settled in yourself, that mindset. That adverse situation is taken as an opportunity. Terry, are you listening? Yes. Every adverse situation. Your problem is very serious, severe to you. My problem is severe to me. I may have a different problem. David's problem is different from our problems. How come? My mental perception. Encore, level up, finished. How are you, Stephen? You have to say anything.
I'm good. There are a lot of things, I've been contemplating and reflecting on a lot of things that have taken place in the past. And I'm realizing, I've realized for a long time, well, first, I agree with Jari, the Mangalam chart sets the day. And it doesn't have to just be in the morning, even though it does. I started in the morning, but it's throughout the day because it brings me back to a center. But there is a clear realization that the mind is not your friend, and it tries to make you remember that virtually throughout the entire day, and its tool is your ego. So for me, utilizing, I think David brought it up a couple of sessions ago about the stepping back piece again, and I've been able to do that, to be able to just look at every situation to say, am I reacting this way because of my ego? This my mind again? And I think that if you said something the other day about utilizing the triangle as an object to get the mind to focus. So we still have that battle with the mind. So with me, I've started to objectify the mind, the ego, and the real self. And when you talk about the existence, I bring the existence into it. Says the existence doesn't want me to be upset. The existence doesn't want me to be anxious. The existence is giving me all these things to bring the real self out. So by objectifying each one of these techniques, I think I'm working on getting closer and closer to that real self and putting the mind in its place, because it's one of those friends that you just can't get rid of. So you just need to put it in its place, and so it knows exactly where it sits within the life. And that's what I'm getting out of a lot of these. And then you did say something just before about every bad opportunity, and I recall a quote that you said. I actually think I have it written on my board over there, which I can't see from here, but it about every opportunity, every situation is an opportunity to transcend the mind. So thank you.
If every opportunity, every situation is an opportunity, it means that I'm consistently maintaining my awareness. So I'm living cautiously. I'm living consciously to recognize it. This is the one part you have beautifully summarized and discussed a couple of things. One of the things that I want to remind you so that you can listen to it again, you will be able to remember the past events and the situations where your ego did something wrong. Ego pulled the situation, you lost something, you will be able to remember those events. Then I can learn from those events. Obviously, I said, I spoke like this in this event. I'm not going to do it in the future. So it means it is a kind of it blows your mind, it awakens you, it makes you calmer. So even you don't have a guilt because of the past experiences, you learn from them. So that also includes into liberate model. How much I can tell. Eastern wisdom is an unending process. But one thing is becoming sure, that you all are becoming teachers to yourself. When you become teachers to yourself, you are also conveying the message of the Eastern wisdom to others also in your family, in your relationship. And that is what my goal is. Anyone left? Oh, yeah, David is left.
The other day, you said, I am my everything. And so I've been practicing kind of what Samir was saying, coming from the inside out through my daily process, through things that happen. And it's been very soothing and calming coming from the inside out because I know I'm my everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that I am my everything. How can I hurt my left hand with the right hand? I'm my everything. So now instead of a left hand, it is Krishna. How can I hurt her? How can I hurt my relations? How can I hurt in that situation? That conveys the message. But it will reach to a application once we apply this liberate model. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Now, not just in few seconds, I say place, position, posture. Because the mind has become the mature because of the Mangalacharan, because of the discussion, because of your focus. You see, the intellect is pressuring the mind. No, no more. Place, position, posture, done. Being comfortable, done. Being carefree, done. And you return to the flow of the breath. And flow of the breath, you recognize the first neighbor. First neighbor. Where is the first neighbor? The world outside. Who lives in the world? My honey, for example. Oh, I'm very pain, I'm feeling the pain because my honey caused me the suffering. It is the first neighbor. Once you recognize it, and then tackle this, then find the solution. Second neighbor is the body. Head has a tremendous pain. I say I have an headache. So you see that mixing up. I cannot become my at any point in time. I have told you, my car cannot be I am, but my head becomes I am. Third, energy level. So that energy should be spent in humility, in self-discovery, rather than in excitement. And you can also figure out that's why I have objected to it plainly, that some people say, I'm very excited to listen to you. No, don't be excited, be calm. Mind, crazy mind. We have already discussing mood, mode, liberate model. I-ness in the intellect. And Stephen has already discussed about this. I-ness should not engage itself in blame, complaint, anxiety, duality, adverse situation. That I-ness should follow the intellect knowledge. Sixth, ignorance. So once we do it, and now the Mangalacharan, let us do it. The same Mangalacharan what we did it in the very beginning. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Over years I have been repeating, so I got the rhythm also. You are existence, you are my father, and you are my mother. It's always good to use some image. Without image, it is possible, but you may pick up the one you idealize, alter. So there, the role of the so-called organized gods and goddesses comes. So you are using existence. You are totally free. Existence, you are my father, you are my mother, my sibling, my friend. Or you can add my friend in need. And then what the master says, see the about turn. So you're my mother, father, sibling, my friend. That to idealize, it is better to. That's why I keep my frame image of the master. But now you see, the next line is totally internal. You are my knowledge, my wealth, my everything. Oh, supreme existence. And stay there. The moment the mind demands something now, it belongs to, you are my everything. I have nothing to worry. So any thought comes and just refer that thought to the existence. It belongs to the any feeling. Any negative or positive, good and the bad feeling comes. Why? To get rid of the ego. Ego is more attached to the negative feeling rather than the positive. Both options are possible. So you are reflecting on it. Meditation is not that you do not think at all. If you do not think, we die. The state of thoughtlessness is there. The state of emptiness is there. And now, looking at the breath, start breathing deep, silent, and slow. I'm adding one semi-active step. We'll be doing the active steps again in our following sessions. That part is still missing. So you start breathing deep, silent, and slow. With the moment you inhale, you move the mind from the top center of the head into the spine, reaching to the tailbone, and singing mentally Om Shanti. Sometimes we are extremely reactive, and our mind creates that image of a reaction in ourselves. We are using that energy, the third neighbor, instead of excitement and with an emotion. Om Shanti. When the breath returns, mind moves from the tailbone to the top of the head, my friends. Om Shanti. It's a deep, silent, and slow breathing. Om Shanti is there. Mind is moving with the breath in the spine. Lot of things. We're engaging the mind in many areas so that it doesn't wander because of the past impressions. That is what the nyas is. continue. We are not doing the active breathing practices. It doesn't mean we cannot undermine. It has its own importance. So we will understand in the following session practically the importance of those practices. Any ideal or altar with a name in the form helps the mind to get rid of the attachment. Inner self without name in the form gets rid of the ego. And at that stage, the mind is ready to receive the teaching as it is, to remove the ignorance. That is the basic step. It's very advanced, but I will talk about that. But why I said so, because we are adding both. We have not added the image of the name in the form. We are using the triangle. Shanti. And now leave this. Drop Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers. The way you do it is okay, but keep checking when you are dropping Shanti on the side. Mind also picks up some past impressions, maybe some reactions, some. Just remember that, recognize them and continue doing it. What happened yesterday, in terms of anxiety and reaction, your mind will remind you, will create an image while dropping Shanti. So just be aware. Just maintain your awareness. You continue doing it. It is going to happen. you step also, move the mind inside the heart. Visualize the triangle dropping Om Shanti. On each side of a triangle, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So our altar is a triangle. That triangle represents Shiva. And normally we say the god Shiva, pointing upward. So Om Shanti Om is the real self. Real self is of the nature of peace. And I am the real self. Do you have that emotion, that feeling in your mind while dropping Om Shanti? Yes, it is little bit challenging. It happens, we gain some focus. So that is why I will detail that any altar outside with a name in the form for freedom from attachment, inner self, to drive the ego away, because that ego is nameless and formless. We give a name in the form outside. And once you experience this thing, first the mind with Om, mind seemingly stops, you drop Shanti, do nothing. So now understand, my friends, that doing nothing means that it is the inner self has taken over. But happening is always there. You are aware of the happening. What is happening in the body, mind, intellect, even today, that happening, you are aware of it. So in that happening, there may be many happenings. One or two happening may be a revelation. And that is what you share in your experiences. I told you, my friends, Eastern wisdom is 200% scientific. Modern science is only 100%. They leave many things unattended, unexplored. Then they create a fantasy. Here there is no chance of fantasy. We question. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Dennis?
You mentioned something about the reason our mind blames and complains during the lecture, and my mind developed this thought during the meditation. And what I was thinking is that this reason is because the mind, actually two reasons. The first one is because the mind perceives the other person as being completely different and separate from myself. And the other reason is that the mind believes that that different person has an intention to harm me. And the contemplation and exploration of these two points show that they are completely false and ungrounded. The first one is because the myself as well as the other person are two manifestations of the real self, and in the essence they are one, so they are not separate. And if I remember that there is during this act of complaining or blaming, then there is no one to blame, and there is no one to complain to, because uh, in the essence, the one who complains is the same as who is being complained. And the second point, the other person does not have any intention to harm me. The other person has an intention to become happy, and he may understand his happiness as the desire to harm someone, but in essence, it is not the intention to harm, it's the intention of being and becoming happy. So the understanding of this at the moment when the mind wants to blame and complain encourages the mind uh, to turn to that person with the explanation that he can or she can achieve happiness in a different way, uh, rather than hurting me or someone else. So that's how I contemplated, and my meditation was peaceful and calm as always. Thank you.
Beautiful. Now put what Dennis says after repeat listening, put what his explanation into a liberate framework, and it will apply. That is what we need to do. I love real self. It means there is a remembrance of the. I started investigating why you are blaming me, why you are complaining, investigating. I break free from the attachment. What to complain? Whom to complain? Why to complain? There is no one. You see, liberate and then eradicate. Ah, delusion is gone. Uh, no, no one is going to harm. We both have one. See the point, and then you are calm. You're relaxed. Think. So we have to do a lot of thinking. We are already thinking being busy, but here you are thinking of liberating yourself. That is the difference. How are you, Stephen?
Thank you again, sir.
Thank you.
When I closed my eyes, the meditation, I was inside my mind, and just a lot of thoughts and a lot of noise. And I said, here's a great opportunity to apply what we just talked about. And I actually embraced, David reminded again today about living on the inside. So I immediately processed again the idea that my mind was always wanting to be outside, but I wanted to be inside. And immediately applied, and that whole timing took place up to the start of the Nyasa. And when we started that Nyasa, I basically said to the mind, I said, it's now time to give thanks and be grateful to the existence. And it all shut down. Everything went away, and all I remember is coming out of meditation. So it works, and it was great. So thank you.
Beautifully, it works. Another way, now you all are realizing how these principle works. He said grateful to the existence. So it doesn't mean that in meditation we don't say anything. You reflect in order to get rid of what is not desired. And it happens. Instantly it happens. Every principle of this Eastern wisdom works. Why it has been experimented for 10,000 years by thousands of masters. How are you, Samir? And then let's go there. Yeah.
I think, sir, once you told that we are the leaves of same tree. We all are the leaves of same tree. Nobody, we cannot compare ourselves with anybody, and there is no need to compare. Means, and there is no jealousy, no hatred. Means, what to compare? Means, if we are born from one, वो गुरु नानक देव जी कहते थे ना, एक नूर से सब जग उपजा, कौन पले सब कौन मंदे.
Including honey. Don't compare yourself with your honey. Your honey was talking to me before the session.
Yes. So no need to compare, and it starts dropping on its own that there is no use and there is no need.
Yes. You see, it's a beautiful metaphor. We all are the leaves of the same tree. Our root is the same. So what is the root? Root is the real self. So these principle helps you to recognize, to realize and experience. And once we have that experience, the impurities of the mind, ignorance of the mind is gone. How beautiful. We are going there. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. My meditation just dropped right deep, right away. And it was just about self-love and kindness. So thank you.
Beautiful, yes. Yes. One thing is very clear. Non-seekers, they claim they love themselves. They don't love themselves. And that is why they are suffering. I have a chronic anxiety for how many? Oh, maybe for 5 years. Why don't you self-deport? You know, when I hear some news, I use an Eastern wisdom. did, did you? I think you understood it. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, thank you. Meditation was deep. There were two things that came up after the sharing for me, and that was the mind. It wasn't that the mind isn't our friend, but it was something like that, and the leveling up. And I feel like after we apply the Mangalacharan and the liberate, that the mind actually becomes our best friend.
Yes.
And then there's these opportunities from past impressions that become more and more rare, but they present, and it's this opportunity to level up to where the mind says to you, shall we apply that Eastern wisdom that you've learned? or shall we keep with the same pattern and habit? And the mind actually triggers that, where it asks you, like, shall we apply all of these things that we've learned, or do we want to be stuck here for a little longer?
It's a beautiful point you are sharing, and it comes from that conclusion. I said Eastern wisdom, teacher, knowledge, and in between you have the mental impressions, the past impression, which push me, no, it is not required. I hate you, so I hate you. But if you make a choice to apply, you set a value. When you set a value, mind is the greatest friend. Mind is the, and it appears a very long process. No, it takes a fraction of a second. You become aware and you change. That makes you a great seeker. Beautiful. That is another way beautifully you have summarized. I'm giving you guys more time to talk about it. I have kept you silent for so many years. How are you, Brandy? You have a time. Share like as if you are a professor to all of us.
Boy, that's pressure. My meditation was deep, and I think it's helpful to come from the lecture and the sharing into the meditation because the processing's already happened.
Yes.
And so then the application of the work kind of comes through in the meditation. Thank you.
Thank you. Understand what we have been telling, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. So both these happened when we did the Mangalacharan, when we discussed, and then you practice meditation. That is what he is saying. She is saying. So she is proving that these principle works. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. I'm noticing a much faster, deeper meditation as we progress more recently.
Definitely. Yes. Yes. Meditation is a state. It is not something to be achieved. So when you want to achieve, you have an achievement, mind is in achievement mode. Okay, now how far is your house? 20 miles. So I have just traveled 2 miles, third. No, this is not meditation. Meditation is a state which lies behind the mind. So yes, there is definitely a faster progress. Beautiful. How are you, Terry?
I I feel that I'm just in this listening mode
Yes, good.
all the time. So
Yes, you
I
rightly said. Go ahead. Go ahead.
just listening on a little more. Not, I don't know if I'm contemplating. I think I do that without realizing.
You are doing contemplation and reflection. Reflection also. When you are listening and learning mode and you are consistent, mind is already processing the information. And gradually we will move into the liberate model. We are finding a tremendous change in you that I don't want to repeat it. I don't want to say anything until your mind reaches to a point of no return.
Oh,
Then we will talk about
okay.
it. Yes, that is all for today. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank
Yes,
you.
apply
Thank
this.
you.
Apply this, contemplate and reflect on this famous mantra, Mangalacharan Asatoma Satgamaya. Huh? Moving from the false to the real. So you recognize the false and deport it. Self-deport. No, I'm not. I'm apolitical, but I use those phrases which helps me to explain the things clearly. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was good.